Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
The Jackson County Fair Board, in conjunction with Total Media, proudly present Neil McCoy. Neil McCoy. Saturday, July 15th at the Jackson County Fair. VIP track access seats now available for only $30, which includes admission to the fair. Get tickets now at JacksonCooHfair.com or at the Total Media Studios in Jackson.
The second annual Black Diamond Music Festival is coming to the beautiful campus of Hocking College in Nelsonville, June the 9th and 10th. This year featuring Josh Turner.
Would you go with me if we roll down streets of fire?
Other acts on the Rocky stage on Friday night include Myron Hart, Hunter Girl, and Tyler Braden. Saturday is headlined by Ashley McBride. Also featuring Chase Wright and Lindsay L. Also plenty of local favorites throughout the day on the Pepsi and Budweiser stages.
Always check the door before you lay down.
General admission tickets are $65 for one day, $120 for a 2-day pass. Tickets and lodging info are available at BlackDiamondMusicFestival.com. Join us for the second annual Black Diamond Music and Arts Festival, June the 9th and 10th at Hocking College in Nelsonville.
Good morning, everyone. Jennifer's on a vacation today. She's actually taking her dog to have a certain surgery done that the dog is not particularly excited about. But she's not here today, so you're stuck with me. And I've got the crew from the Appalachian Old Car Club here with me. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Ross, John Smith.
All right. Marty and John, thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. And so later in the show, Pete Wilson's going to be here. The man, the myth, the legend, Red Thompson Jr. is going to be here. And so we're going to be talking local news later. But right now, we're talking old cars. So what have you guys got going on?
Okay. The one is coming up Saturday on June 10th from 6 to 8. We're having a cruise in at Trinity Chapel Church here in Jackson.
That's down on the corner of 93 and Mayhew Road.
And this is going to be a free cruise in. And we'd like for people to bring their rat rods, their motorcycles, their classic cars, whatever they have, bring it out, and we want them to show it. We're going to have hot dogs and chips and desserts and drinks for free. We're going to have door prizes. We're going to pull for door prizes for the participants there at the cruise in. We'd like to thank some of our sponsors for this event. O'Reilly's here in Jackson, Iron City Implement, Iron City Pipe, Apple City Wholesale, AutoZone, McDonald's Restaurants, John Smith Fire Extinguisher, Sales and Service, the ladies of the church, the ECL ladies of the Trinity Chapel Church will be doing the refreshments and what have you. And we also just want to thank the church itself for letting us use their lot and their facilities to have this event.
Yeah. So what kind of cars can we expect to see there?
I'm hoping everything.
Yeah. A little bit of everything.
From Model Ts on up.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be some there. I encourage, if you don't have a car, just to come out and browse through and look at the cars that will be there.
That's the nice thing about a cruise in.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily attract the same crowd you do with a car show.
Yeah.
It's just people
a little
coming
bit more
out.
Casual.
They want to look at cars, and they want people to look at their cars and trade ideas and just see what else is out there.
Yeah.
And that's the fun part of it is just the various vehicles that you see there. It can be a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So the patch on you guys' shirts says that it's an old car club. So what is the cutoff for an old car?
There is
So like if somebody that's like still tooling around in like a 97 like Ford Taurus or something like that, does that count as an old car?
Well, that would
At
be
this point, yes.
Yes, that would be a good one.
All right.
Yes.
But, we welcome anybody, and that's the other thing. We're always looking for new members, and that's one reason we thought we'd do this show is to get people coming in and bringing their vehicles. And if they like what we do here and at the Wheels of Steel Car Show in August, join up. And we take cruises, just the car club itself. It's not always all of us, but most of us will take a cruise like up to Lake Hope, and we'll eat, and then we'll take a cruise through the back roads up and back, and just different places around the area that we've been to, destinations. And we just go. Sometimes it's even blind. The only person that knows
the person
where
that's
we're
leading.
going exactly.
So
Is your lead car.
yeah. So these are old cars. You guys ever go on an excursion like that and you have a couple people that maybe don't make it all the way?
Yes. We're not going to go into that.
We don't go into that. Okay. Well, have you guys ever watched the show Top Gear?
Yes.
Like the car show. So they always go off on these like adventures in these like old junky cars, and they're trying to like drive it up the side of a mountain or whatever, and they always have like a crew member following behind them, and like a really like beat up junky car, and like if they can't make it, their punishment is they have to do the rest of it in whatever this like old like embarrassing car is. So I feel like maybe you guys should like consider like adapting that model.
That's fine.
Like, is there a particular so like what would that be? Is there a particular car that like amongst car guys they're like, oh, that is not the car you want to be seen driving in?
Maybe a rat rod.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know. They're all interesting.
Yeah.
They always have
It's
been.
all interesting.
But I've got a 56 Dodge panel truck and a 95 Suburban. And
those like 90s SUVs, I don't know that much about cars, but I know that that's like a pretty trendy thing right now. Everybody wants these like old Ford Explorers and the Suburbans and stuff like that, because they just don't make vehicles like that anymore. They don't make them that big. They don't make them that powerful. They don't put V8 engines or whatever in them anymore.
Yes. I've got a 40 Oldsmobile that some of our members remember the suicide doors on that.
So that means it opens backwards or it opens up?
No,
it opens backwards.
Yes. Yes, they hinge to the back of the car instead of the front of the car, the back doors. And a lot of people have not seen those, younger people, a car like that. And my wife has a 65 Thunderbird. So we've got a couple of cars ourselves that we drive to different events and shows and what have you. And our club next year will be 50 years old.
50 years old. So you're going to be a classic car yourselves.
Yeah.
And with that, we're trying to come up with some things to do, tie in maybe with the Apple Festival and do some special things at the Wheels of Steel in 2024.
And so the Wheels of Steel that you mentioned, so that's the car show that you guys do over Pig Iron Days.
Yes.
Exactly.
And this is kind of like your big event for the year, right?
Yes, it is.
So I remember you guys talking about this last year, and you just kind of refreshed my memory of this. You give away 80 awards at this show.
Yes.
That is a lot of awards.
Yes. And
So how many? So you have well over 100 plus entries, right?
we'll average around 130 cars.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say this. You show up. You're one of 100 cars. And then you hand out all these trophies, and you're one of just like a couple people that don't get one.
Well, we have judges who
Yeah.
go through and judge the cars. We have people that do that for us. So, they got to have certain things.
Yeah. So some of the categories are really broad, and some of them are really specific,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So say like, so what's one that would be like, I don't know, what are some of the categories? Because it's like best Ford, best Chrysler, best GM.
Yes.
It's like those are pretty broad, but like some of them are
Well, the other things
really
we
narrow.
do, we just named it Class A. We give away 60 trophies in it.
Oh, okay.
And that's from the beginning of automobiles up to 1999. And then Class B, we do 5 trophies, which are 2000 model year and newer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Class V, which is 15 trophies for the veterans class.
Mm-hmm.
And our big trophies, like you said, for the Ford, Chrysler, GM, and the Car Club favorite, those sponsors are Mark Porter donates for the Ford and Chrysler, Haynes Chevy down in South Webster. They help us with the General Motors trophy, and then the Atomic Credit Union is the sponsor of the Car Club.
And that's kind of like a, do you guys all get a vote on that?
Yes.
Like every
Yeah.
member of the car club, like, oh,
Exactly.
I like that one,
That's
I like
exactly
that one.
what
So
the
is
Car
that like a pretty lot of competition going in there? Is that one that's like really desirable because it's like, oh, well, this is my peers have voted on this. Like everybody, it's one thing to be like, oh, he's the best
Well,
Chevy.
for one thing, the Car Club members,
Mhm.
our shows can't be judged or put into the competition.
Oh, okay.
So this is everyone else's cars.
Yeah, so you're not counting yourselves.
No.
No.
But
Okay. So are you the 20 people that don't get a trophy?
yes.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, that makes it more fair. But yeah, I feel like that like Viewers Choice Award, that Car Club favorite, I feel like that's got to be like kind of special, because if you've like got an old Ford or whatever and you've put a lot of work into it, like you expect to maybe win the Ford trophy. But that's you got what you guys like is probably different than what the average like novice just looking at it. They're like, oh, well, that's shiny. I like that one.
Right.
And you guys are like, oh, well, they put an engine from a 19 whatever into that, and they took the front end off of whatever, some weird quirky thing that like an average person wouldn't notice. Like that's probably what gets you guys excited about it. Did it rain last year? Did you get rained out last? Yeah. So
We had about 38 cars last year.
yeah,
That's definitely been our smallest.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the year before, which
Was the
got
biggest?
our hopes up, we had over 150.
yeah.
And we were running out of room to put them and all kinds of problems. And then we were gearing ourselves last year for that big of a crowd, and then the weather didn't cooperate. And it wasn't that bad of a day, actually, as the day went on.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people are coming from out of town.
Exactly. And the trip there would have been messy, and then cleaning up the car after they got
Yeah,
there.
I'm sure that field was probably a little muddy too. I mean, Manpower Park is,
They've
known.
improved it quite a
It has
bit,
improved
so.
quite a bit, but it is still known for having some water, some soft. Well, yeah, we'd say some soft spots.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, so the Wheels of Steel car show. This is coming up on August 5th. But if you can't wait that long, tomorrow
Yes.
is when you guys are going to be at the Trinity Chapel Church here in Jackson
Right.
for your cruise in from 6 to 8 p.m. And this is a free event. And you're going to have hot dogs for free?
Yes.
Yeah.
Free hot dogs?
Oh, yes.
Who's grilling the hot dogs?
The ladies of the church.
All right. Chips and desserts, and you're going to have door prizes. What kind of door prizes are we talking?
Oh, we're talking like jumper cables, car wash, a bucket with a sponge and car wash soap, and cleaner for your car and different things like that.
Jumper cables probably come in handy when you got an old car, don't they?
So the local merchants have been very nice to us over the years of providing things like that to us for door prizes. So we like to thank them once again for that.
Wonderful. And
Well, something else I'd like to mention, it's also free. We're tying in with the Marquee on July 9th. They're showing the movie Grease, which is very popular now. And we're going to have our cars out on Main Street and invite anyone else to come along and see them and see the movie for free. And then on September 3rd, we're doing that again, and Thunder Road will be the movie then.
Cool. So important question. When we're doing Grease at the Marquee, you guys are going to be rocking your
we
leather
dress like
T-bird
that anyway,
jackets.
so.
Yeah. Full on cosplay, just complete the whole.
I don't know,
whole thing.
full on.
Slick your hair back.
Yes.
Well, yes, that's
what we got left of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to share before we invite the legendary Pete Wilson and Red Thompson over here?
Invite everyone in the whole community, whoever's listening today, is get that car out today and clean it up a little bit and bring it down and enter it in. We want to see your car.
Yeah.
Do you
have any advice for somebody that's maybe interested in getting into this hobby and is maybe intimidated by it, maybe thinking they're not as mechanically savvy or thinking that it's too expensive or whatever, but like they really would love to get into that? Like, do you have any advice to somebody like that?
Stop down to this cruise in tomorrow evening. Any of us that have our shirts on with the logo, talk to us, ask us about joining, and we'll be glad to talk to you. It's $15 single for a year and $20 for a couple. I think that's a pretty affordable rate that people can do, and we meet once a month, and they're at Trinity Chapel at the second Thursday at 6:30 in the evening, and we just go over events like this that we're planning and just have fun, plan cruises for ourselves and anyone else that wants to go along with us.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Well,
you guys are
we
always
appreciate
welcome.
you even more. So.
Yes, for allowing us to take a few
Well,
minutes.
you're very welcome.
Let the public know what's going on with Appalachia Old Car Club.
Awesome. Well, again, that's the Appalachian Old Car Club Cruise In happening this Saturday at Trinity Chapel Church in Jackson from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a free event with like barbecue, hot dogs, chips, drinks. Can't miss it.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a little break and we'll be back with Pete Wilson.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
All right, so let's take a look at that weather real quick. What's it going to look like for this car show this weekend? So a little bit cooler today. We're looking at temperatures in the high 70s, warming up tomorrow into the low 80s, and then a chance of rain on Sunday and then into Monday. And we got hazy skies. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit as a result of those Canadian wildfires. Pete, Red, how are you guys doing today?
Hey, it's Friday, right?
It is Friday.
My guys got car shows to go to and vending shows out at Buckeye Furnace.
That's true. The Buckeye Furnace Vintage Fair.
Right, and
also.
we've got the Southern Ohio Forest Rally up in Vinton County,
yeah.
and we got a great weather weekend, and that's just a sampling.
Yeah,
of the things
we've also
going on
got
this weekend.
that Black Diamond Music Festival in Nelsonville. Red comes to me the other day. We gave away tickets. I'm going to tell on Red. So we gave away 6 tickets here on the show this week, and Red comes to me yesterday. He's like, "Hey James, you got any of those tickets left?" I said, "Oh, Red, we gave away the ones we had to give away, but we'll see what we can do for you, pal."
You know, I remember Josh Turner when Long Black Train came out.
Yeah,
people just went crazy over it. It's a country song with gospel overtones, and it it was very popular and got his career started. So you're going to see some great country music tonight.
Yeah, that's tonight at 9:30. Josh Turner at the Black Diamond Music Festival in Nelsonville. The first of 3 music festivals in Nelsonville this summer. All right, Pete, what's up? So real quick, I wanna just programming note to the audience. Obviously, Jennifer's not here. Dylan is also not here, so I am trying to run the computer from here the best that I can. And so
good luck, sir.
So Pete, can you read this? Because I can't hardly read it either. So these are your pictures. So I'm going to do the best that I can to read this from across the room. So if I get a picture wrong, I just want people to understand. Because I can't read the computer.
Yeah, all you folks out there, remember, although we do post this on Facebook, it's live TV right now, and so all the little spills and whatever you're going to see. But that makes it a little bit exciting as well.
Yeah. All right. So Pete, what's up?
All right. Well, you asked the right question. What's up? Air quality, of course, not very good. Very much in the national news, and this is affecting our local area. I don't know whether you can tell from the skies, but it's been a little hazy, and that is because of some Canadian wildfires, mainly in the province of Quebec. It is really affecting the northern part of the United States, the Northeast, and also the upper Midwest, the Mideast, and we are affected. You can see from this picture that Jeremiah Shaver took, it does look a little hazy. That is not fog. That is haze from these wildfires up in Canada settling over this part of our country. The Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and the Ohio Department of Health have both put out advisories. The last advisory expired at 1 a.m. this morning. However, those conditions still exist a little bit. If you have respiratory issues, allergies, etc., you might want to be careful about being outside just a little bit. Myself, I haven't really noticed it all that much. I know it's worse in some other areas.
Yeah.
There was a picture that Jeremiah showed me of New York City. You can really notice it there. It's orange in the sky and everything like that.
Wednesday night, I was in Chillicothe, and you could tell that it was not normal that evening.
Well, it is supposed to be better today. You can go online and get this air quality score, and people who watch it on television, check the phones, whatever. You're getting these advisories that you don't see very much. That the air quality index is not good. It's unhealthy even. So. You do need to be careful. The good news is that because of time passing and weather conditions and the wind, it is supposed to improve here in the next several days. But we do have a story about that with a local connection. Jeremiah worked in some local information. It's already online, and we will have an updated story with a photo in our print edition as well. So we thank Jeremiah for that work. And once again, if you've noticed the haze, it's not because of a fire somewhere outside of town. It's all the way in Canada. It's just the way the wind and the atmosphere works.
Yeah.
We do have quite a bit of news to cover, and Red Thompson Jr. here is with me. Red covers a lot of our local news, especially some of our big stories from Vinton County, and so he's going to join me since he is the authority. We'll start, though, in Jackson County with a big story that broke earlier in the week. It was covered in detail. Excellent story by our associate editor, Phil Buffington. He has been covering this since it's happened. And that is the controversies that have occurred with the deputy director's position at the Jackson County Board of Elections. This has been a saga that's been going on for several months. The board, remember, we have a bipartisan board, 2 Republican members, 2 Democrat members. And the deputy director's position has to be filled by a Democrat because the current director, Margaret Casey, is a Republican. So the Democrats get to make the recommendation, and then it has to be approved by the full board. Well, the former person who was put in as deputy director, Marcia Beatty, when it came time to reinstall her, the 2 Republican members voted against her because they felt competence issues. And it remained a stalemate, a 2-2 vote, and the Secretary of State, Frank LaRose, who was a Republican, ultimately broke that tie in favor of the Republicans, agreeing with them on their stance. So the controversy has kind of continued in trying to fill that position with a new person. The Democrats came up with a person from Wellston named Bobby Henry, who they felt was very qualified. They felt she should have been approved. However, the 2 Republican members on the Board of Elections, that would be Kaida Newell and Deborah Cantor, both did not support Bobby Henry. Her appointment quickly, at least. The comment was made that they needed to do some more interviewing and like that and vetting and so forth. And the Democrats felt there was no reason, to hold off at all. And so it all came to a head last Monday evening on another Board of Elections meeting. And there was 3 straight votes, I understand, that were 2-2. Once again,
Okay.
Not
Along
necessarily
party lines?
Yes, along party lines. Not necessarily on the Republican side saying they wouldn't put Bobby Henry in, just not ready to be comfortable doing that yet without some more interviewing. That was what was said. Finally, another person, Lisa Parker, who is the Jackson County Democratic Committee chairman, she was put up as another candidate, another Democratic candidate, because it has to be a Democrat, and then it has to be approved by the full board, which is both parties. When they put up Lisa Parker, it resulted in a split where the 2 Democrat members voted for Bobby Henry, as they had before. One of the Republican members, Kaida Newell, abstained, and the other Republican member, Deborah Cantor, on the board, did vote for Bobby Henry this time, and so she was put in.
Okay.
So that brought an end to the vacated position in the deputy director position. But once again, certainly some bad feelings along the way there. The Republican stance being, we just want to make sure we get the best person possible for this deputy director position. And the Democrat members feeling like they had somebody who was more than adequate. And, why are you fighting this? It has to be a Democrat. We ought to be able to have who we want. So kind of a sidebar story there that, that could have been maybe the main story, but it wasn't because of the controversy over filling the position, was the fact that there is also a new elections board member, Kim Milliken, very well-known person here in the county. She has been the Colton mayor now for 10 years plus. She had been a elections director or on the staff in Delaware County when she lived up there. So she's very, very qualified to be a new board member. She is replacing Rodney Smith, who has retired after many years on the elections board. And so Kim was put in, and the interesting thing about it is Kim Milliken is a Democrat member. Elaine Speakman is a Democrat member on the board. The 2 Republican members, as I mentioned, are Kaida Newell and Deborah Cantor. We have, this is historical, an all-female membership of the Board of Elections. All 4 members are women.
And you think this is the first time in Jackson County?
They are sure of that. And, I do go back a ways, and there have been women on the Board of Elections. There's certainly been women staff members, director, and deputy director. I've never remembered 4 women all at the same time. So congratulations to Kim Milliken and Bobby Henry. That story, by the way, if you missed it, it is posted online as well as being featured in our Wednesday paper. It did start to attract attention just because, the members couldn't agree on this position.
That's true.
All right. Some good news to report out of Vinton County, and this may ultimately affect Jackson County as well. The Moonville Rail Trail Association, that is a nonprofit group that works to develop a rail trail up there that bicyclists, hikers can use, and it goes into both Vinton and Athens County, but one of the places that it goes to, of course, is the famous Moonville Tunnel,
yeah.
The haunted tunnel.
Yeah.
You
believe it's haunted?
In Vinton County. Well,
Red believes it's haunted. Look at Red's it's haunted.
Well, there's many people who say that it is. All right.
Well, Red says it is. I believe Red.
But anyway, of course, it's historical, and the Moonville Tunnel has become a real tourist attraction. And the Midnight in Moonville event, which they now have in October, has drawn literally thousands of people there.
Oh, yeah.
So
many people, they got to have you park somewhere else and bus you over to.
Well, they hope to improve all that. They've got a $2 million grant that is going to be used to build a couple of bridges that will allow them to improve the trail and the access and make it continuous, I think. And this is going to happen here in the next couple years. Just because you get money awarded doesn't mean, that the construction starts immediately.
Yeah.
But this is the rail trail is owned by the Vinton County Commissioners and the Athens County Commissioners. But this Moonville Rail Trail Association is a citizens group that really has its hand on it and makes things happen.
Okay.
And they were able to get a $2 million grant through the Ohio Department of Transportation to get this done. And so that is very good news. Now, Caleb Appelman, who is the leader of the Vinton County Visitors and Convention Bureau, they're the ones doing the Hotel MacArthur and the new Park District up there. He reported that with the construction of these final 2 bridges, because of this grant, he hopes that it leads to the Park District developing plans then to extend the rail trail, which should become more popular because of these improvements, south with the intention of connecting it to the Wellston bike path. So it would come over the county line and connect with the Wellston bike path, which is a very heavily used path. It's not that long, but it runs from Wellston by the depot in downtown all the way out to Lake Alma.
Yeah.
And so there has always been talk, James, about connecting bike paths through Jackson and Vinton counties. They've talked about having one that maybe goes all the way from Oak Hill up to Vinton County to Moonville. That's just speculative and kind of a visionary now. But this is a step in that direction, I think.
But this would potentially connect all the way from like Wellston and Lake Elma all the way to the bike path in Athens, right?
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. It's some place called a Mineral in Athens County, I think. I'm not sure where that is, but that is there is a portion in Athens County as well as in Vinton County. I'm not sure what the total length of the Moonville Rail Trail is, but it's a little bit broken up. Anytime that you do construction, a bridge is an expensive thing. So that's why this grant is such a big thing. But, hikers, bikers, whatever. One of the things that makes our area a tourist attraction is the outdoors.
Sure.
The Hocking Hills, you just look at the advantage. Look at the example there. The number one tourist attraction in all of Ohio, statistically, is the Hocking Hills region.
Really?
And Vinton County, of course, sitting right next door. And this man right here has written volumes about tourism and, more importantly, the possibility of tourism being developed even more, and that being an economic driver, a development tool for Vinton County to bring outside money into the county. And, Red, I know that from your coverage, the Moonville thing, Moonville probably the number one tourist attraction in Vinton County right now.
Well, it is, and there's websites. There's 121 websites. It's known in New York. It's known all over the world. People come there. It's just a destination. The Ohio University students love it. And, at the Moonville midnight party or midnight event, there's a lot of people from OU there. So it's very, it's big to the county. It's big to Selesky. Selesky's looking for a gas station, looking for a convenience store.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. They have how many thousand people show up to that Midnight at Moonville event, and how far away is that from the nearest gas station?
About 15 miles.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think that a convenience store or a gas station would be a go there, but it just hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will. Maybe this might be the trigger.
Yeah. Well, how long was Vinton County without a grocery store, Red?
5 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like I told somebody that the other day, and they didn't believe me.
It was crazy that there wasn't one, or that somebody didn't want to invest. But of course, the end of the story of the now happy story is that Campbell's Market, now up there on State Route US 50, just on the outskirts of MacArthur. That's it's a regional chain, but it's small. And the Campbell's family has been, great for MacArthur and Vinton County, and it's been very successful.
Yeah.
I know Red shops there a lot.
Yeah.
And so
I love their pork ribs, so we'll give them a
there you
shout
go.
out.
But the Moonville Rail Trail, I just took a look at my notes there. It is 10 miles long, and it runs in both Vinton County and Athens County. And hikers use it, cyclists use it, and I guess that some horsemen are on that too.
Okay.
You can walk a portion of it as well. So speaking of Vinton County and events, we mentioned before this weekend there'll be the Southern Ohio Forest Rally. That will it's actually started on Tuesday, and it covers 3 counties. and it is a circuit type race, small compact cars that race that are specially formatted for this type of racing. And the Southern Ohio Forest Rally is one of their major stops. It's become very popular, not only with the locals, but people coming in from the outside that enjoy the racing. But it started out in Ross County in the Chillicothe area. It was in the Scioto Trail Forest earlier in the week, then down at the Shawnee State Forest in Scioto County. Saturday, it will be in the Zaleski State Forest in Vinton County.
And this is where Red met Travis Pastrana last year.
I did. And in a porterhouse, that's one of Porterhouse's favorite stars. He goes, Red got the interview.
Yep. Travis Pastrana's done a lot of interviews in his life, but I bet he never had anything like you coming at him, Red.
Well, one of those racing stages will be up on the state forest roads, and some of those roads will be closed as a result. We have posted a map showing the roads that will be closed on our website, thetelegram.news.com, so you can check that out. And that will also give you a guide to maybe watching some of the races. One of the places, I guess, to do it, Red, is the forest office up there at Zaleski. I know you've been up there before.
That's the finish line, and they come out of the forest, and people goes up there, and some people they make like a line, and they go into the forest, and they watch them come out. And people that likes racing, that's, somebody in Zaleski, that's another chance they could sell a lot of gas, and there isn't any.
Yeah, it's amazing. There is no doubt about that. So gas up there before you go up to Zaleski. Yeah. But will be on Saturday in the afternoon, I think, is when the race stages will be up there in the Zaleski State Forest. But in the morning, this is a real treat for folks who just want to see the cars and maybe meet some of the racers. From 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the block of Main Street, U.S. Route 50, in front of the courthouse there, about where the Turkey Festival takes place. They will close that block, and some of the cars will be parked there, and I take it that the race car drivers will be there before the racing begins later that day up in Zaleski State Forest. They will be there to meet the folks. There'll be some vendors there as well. And Red, I know you were up there last year, really brought in quite a few visitors.
Oh, it does. It looks like you're in Gatlinburg or somewhere like that. The streets were packed. People like vehicles around here. And that's what they tell me. I love music, but they always tell me in Benton County the vehicles do a little bit better than the music.
Well, that's what they say at the county fair.
So, but that doesn't mean that go out and see Neil McCoy, because that's going to be a great show. But, they do like the vehicles around here, and these are small vehicles, like Pete said, and the streets are just packed. People would love to take pictures of them, meet the drivers, get something to eat. It's very popular. It's good for the businesses in MacArthur, the restaurants, the convenience stores. It's another tourism driver that they've got into. And the schools have been good about letting them use the high school to get ready and everything. So it's going to be a good day in MacArthur, 8 to 12, if you want to see the vehicles.
Right, when the weather looks good for all these outdoor events that are taking place. But that's the thing that sometimes you don't pick up on these events and activities that bring in folks, especially from the outside. It is a big boon to the small businesses that are locally. Can triple or quadruple a business on a Saturday or something like that, maybe even more depending on the type of business that it is. And so people also get to see the businesses and whatever. Okay, I want to come back to that store or whatever and do some dress shopping or whatever. The opportunity to bring people in and bring these local businesses exposure and money is just huge. And so it's not only nice that you have these events that bring people in and give you, quote, something to do, but it really is an economic development jolt as well for some of these businesses.
Well, Pete, before you move on, I don't know if you have this in your stack or not, but this week, both the Oak Hill and the Jackson libraries kicked off their summer reading programs with a very similar event.
Right, very popular.
Yeah, very popular event.
Yeah.
the Barker Farms Petting Zoo was both at the Lillian Jones Museum in Jackson and the Oak Hill Public Library in Oak Hill.
Right.
And I think maybe are they making an appearance in Williston this summer too?
I don't know whether. They all have summer reading programs, all four of our local libraries, because we'll throw in the Westcote Memorial Library, MacArthur, Sylvester Memorial, Williston Public Library. They all have great summer reading programs. There's it's thematic, something different every week. I don't know whether the Barker folks are going to be in Wellston or MacArthur, but it's certainly possible because they're based down there in Lawrence County. But I believe the Barker folks are going to be back at Oak Hill at the end of the year as well. So that'll be maybe a different type of presentation. But I know that our own Alex Shope, along with our own Dylan Euler here with Main Street TV, was at the Lillian Jones Museum with that program that kicked off the Jackson City Library's summer reading program, and then Barker back with a different type of program, I guess, at the Oak Hill Public Library last night.
It was exactly the same. It wasn't really a different program, but yeah, it was the same event at both locations, basically. But yeah, so Alex and Dylan collaborated and made this little video report for us. So we're going to watch that right now. Does that sound good, Pete?
We're going to the zoo.
We're going to the zoo.
Bring in the Jackson City Library's summer reading program. Based out of Pedro, Barker Farm provides a unique farm exotic petting zoo recently made another successful visit to the Lillian Jones Museum to bring in the Jackson City Library's summer reading program. Based out of Pedro, Barker Farm provides a unique petting zoo experience for communities centered around entertaining and educating children with a menagerie of gentle yet impressive animal species. Offering both traditional animals and exotic specimens, children can touch and even feed the zoo's furry friends while learning fun facts from the zoo's staff. Setting up on the spacious lawn of the Lillian Jones Museum of Jackson, the petting zoo is a regular and beloved staple of the Jackson City Library's summer reading program. The Jackson City Library's program is not the only one to benefit from their services either, as the Oak Hill Public Library's summer reading program has hosted their animals the very next day. While thunderstorms and intense heat have in the past iterations of their appearances altered the presentation of their magnificent animals, their Wednesday, June 7th visit saw only clear skies and sunnier smiles from the amassed crowds. With a camel, zebu, cavy, porcupine, and a pair of rabbits to lavish attention upon, the curiosity and amusement of all were agreeably sated. No one was more pleased to see the undebutable happiness of the many attendees than the Jackson City Library, which is excited to have began this year's summer reading program with such an impressive start. Roger Donaldson, director of the Jackson City Library, was very pleased with the turnout and was also very thankful to Barker Farm, especially for having such a great crowd. Those interested in learning more about the Barker Farm can follow or message the petting zoo via Facebook and check the page regularly for updates. More information on the Jackson City Library's summer reading program, including a list of upcoming associated events, can be found on their website. This has been Dylan Euler reporting from the Barker Farms Petting Zoo in the Oak Hill and Jackson Libraries.
So thank you, Dylan and Alex, for putting that together. I thought they did a nice job.
Yeah, they did a very nice job. I'm sorry I missed it. I was working, but I enjoy the Barker Farms Zoo. So if they're ever near you, it's a good trip, and good folks that run that.
Very cool. Daniel the camel.
Daniel the camel.
That is an African porcupine. He is the world's largest rodent, if I remember correctly. So really fun time at Oak Hill and Jackson this week, and it's awesome that they're doing that in each community. So kids and they could go twice if they had a ride, but also if you didn't have a ride, you can still make it.
Right, and that's one place where it's okay to pet a porcupine. You might not want to do that out in the wild.
James, it was a little cold for the camel.
Used to a little bit hotter. Yeah, it was a little cooler yesterday. High 70s. Yeah, it was a beautiful day.
All right. Well, speaking about things to do in critters, we're going to break kind of a story that was a bad news story earlier in the year, and now it's become a good news story.
Okay.
We roll the tape back to March when
I'm sensing this is a trout-related story.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Back in March, it was announced that the Jackson Trout Festival, which has been going on for about 40 years, probably longer than that, was not going to be held. First of all, they didn't cancel it, but you knew that it was a dead duck because now Hammertown can't get trout.
No trout festival.
No festival, right. So, and just to make a long story short, the reason was the state is no longer going to stock trout in Hammertown and similar lakes because of the lack of fishing pressure, the fact that it costs the state about $5 to produce a trout,
It's an
believe it or
expensive
not.
trout.
And they cannot survive in the waters when they warm up. So the bottom line was they weren't catching enough trout, and it wasn't a good investment for the state. Everything to a degree is a business. And so it didn't just they were punishing Hammertown, but any lakes like that, that fell in Hammertown's group bracket as far as fishing pressure and temperature of the water and all like that, no more trout stocking. So the Jackson FOP Lodge, the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge, which have put on the Trout Festival for most of its history, not its whole history, but most of its history, met and tried to decide what to do because there was some regret expressed by the public, well, can we buy our own trout or something like that and do it? And that would be maybe cost prohibitive. What they decided to do was have a different fishing tournament, and it's going to be a week from this Saturday.
Okay.
We're going to have the details in our Saturday edition of the Telegram, and also we'll have it online. But the tournament is going to be called the Butch Aldridge Fishing Tournament, and that is in memory of the great Butch Aldridge.
Yeah.
Butch was a retired Jackson police officer with many years of service. He had retired several years ago, but all during his service as a police officer, and even after he retired, he was the man who made the Trout Festival happen. I mean, he didn't do it alone, but he was the leader. I know he was on Main Street TV before. Well, about 5 weeks after last year's Trout Festival, Butch Aldridge died unexpectedly at the age of 69. Very sad. He was very much a beloved character, even though, he was a police officer. And I know sometimes they don't have the best image because they have to be tough. Well, Butch was a good guy and very well known, especially here in the Jackson area. They have decided to name the new fishing tournament the Butch Aldridge Fishing Tournament. It's going to be next Saturday out at Hammertown.
Okay.
And the only difference is there's not going to be any trout.
Okay.
Now remember, the weather is a little warmer now. The fish are biting a little better. And there's lots of fish in that lake. Maybe not trout. Maybe not very many more trout. But they got bass and bluegill and sawguy. A lot of different fish are in that lake. And so instead of having, the biggest trout, they're going to have the biggest game fish. Catfish, a lot of good size catfish in that lake. They're going to have casting tournaments for kids, just like they normally do.
So what do you think the chances are someone's going to pull a trout out?
It's possible.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I did not realize that. I knew the trout didn't reproduce. They were sterile, but I didn't know that they could not survive because of water temperature. So it's possible that some
pretty
trout,
unlikely.
Yeah, they always caught trout at the Trout Festival. I'll say that, but the trout were duly stocked, and there were 3,000 or so of them in there to catch. So it's going to be Aaron Irvin, who is the chief deputy in Vinton County, but still a member of the Jackson FOP, and really after Butch, a guy who was always there, has always been there for the Trout Festival. He has kind of pulled this together, and he's the one that made this announcement to me. But it's going to be fishing will start at around 7 a.m. It will go until 4 p.m.
Okay.
The base of operations where, they're going to be taking information, selling raffle tickets, weighing fish is going to be on the park side at the Shelter House. That's the same place that was the nerve center for the Trout Festival all those years. It's completely free. You don't have to register. If you think you got one of the bigger fish, go up there and register. There'll be adult and kids divisions for largest fish. And then the casting contest will be at about noon.
Okay.
Now, they sell these raffle tickets. I think they're already selling them, but they'll certainly be selling them throughout the day. They're pretty cheap, and it gives you a chance to win hourly prizes on drawings. At 4 p.m. or near 4 p.m., I'm guessing it will be about 4 p.m. because the weather should be good Saturday, they will have a drawing for the grand prize, and it is a fishing kayak.
Wow.
So, that's worth a little bit of money.
Yeah.
That was the same prize they had last year, and some lucky person will win the fishing kayak. So, once again, the Butch Aldridge Fishing Tournament, Saturday, June the 17th. That's a week from this Saturday out at Hammertown. Everybody is invited to go. The FOP will be out there running it. And here is a good juxtaposition. This is the one weekend of the year, James, that the state of Ohio has what they call a free fishing weekend. In other words,
have to have a fishing license.
You do not have to have a fishing license. Now, fishing licenses are not all that expensive. It's a good deal, but it does cost a little bit of money. But that weekend, you don't even have to have a fishing license.
Well, that's smart to have it that weekend then.
Right, and that was one of the things that they were thinking of.
Nice.
All right, well, we've got lots of demolition projects going in both Jackson and Vinton counties. We've shown you pictures. Here is one that just occurred this past week in Jackson County. That is the bail bonds building. That's what it was called. It was across the street from the sheriff's office at 369 Portsmouth Street in Jackson. James just put up.
Well, it's not anymore, is it?
No. As you can see, that's what's left. On Monday, I took the picture of the building standing there on Monday evening. On Tuesday afternoon, Red took this picture of what was left after they knocked it down. And so that property, which was, that demolition project was one of many taking place over in Jackson and Vinton counties because of state money that has come in for this type of project. And their reasoning is, now I know that in lots of places, dilapidated properties need to come down. It makes neighborhoods look better. It makes the town look better if it's in a business area. But the reason the state is willing to invest is development. They feel that if these properties are cleared and then sold, economic development can take place, even if it's just a residential house or something going on. It will improve the property. And so it is an investment. That's how they look at it. They don't look at it as a cosmetic thing.
So who owned that property?
That property was owned by Mark Roger Enterprises, which had a Jackson address. Now the gentleman, his name is Mark Hammond. He used to live in Jackson. He grew up in Jackson. His father was Roger Hammond, who has since passed. He is the owner of that property. The company is called Mark Roger Investments, or Mark Roger Properties, I believe it is. And he will have that property and decide what to do with it. He could sell the property. He might have plans to develop it himself. So we would just have to see. The way it works in Jackson County is the land bank, with this state grant money, provides the money and they do the administration. It's through the county commissioners. And there's lots of properties that have already come down. They got the King's Pool Hall in Wellston. It's already down. Coop's Bar in Wellston is already down. In Vinton County, the old Hamden Junction restaurant is down. And then what else is down, Red, in Vinton County?
Well, nothing yet, but there is a big project in MacArthur, the Blue House, or the Big House, beside the former sheriff's office, that is a prime spot for redevelopment, and that's Wilson Excavating. They'll be ready to start on it soon. The commissioners has already cleared it, and accepted the bid, so it should be coming down any day. And there's some houses out in Allensville they're going to be doing.
Right, and there's a lot of smaller properties in Jackson County, too, scattered throughout. We've just kind of covered some of the more well-known properties because they were commercial or whatever.
But as Pete said before he goes on, the Hamden spot is a high redevelopment spot because of its proximity to State Route 93 and the South Elementary School. There's a lot of traffic there. That's a big lot, and certainly could bring something commercially good to Vinton County, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, we have focused on more of the businesses instead of the houses.
Okay. All right.
And I think I've used two different names, and they were both wrong, James. It's Mark Rogers Enterprises, not Mark Rogers Investments or Mark Rogers Properties. It's Mark Rogers Enterprises. I want to get that name right. That is the name of the company, and the owner now is Mark Hammond of the Bail Bonds building in Jackson. That was, I said, right across
the former Bail Bonds building.
The former Bail. It's gone now, right across from the sheriff's office. It was right by the former Michael's ice cream store, which has also been demolished. Of course, if you want the bubble, you just have to walk a block to Uptown Jackson on Main Street. And Mika Moeller will be glad to sell you one. It's very
roasted peanuts, man.
Oh my gosh, very popular place. All right, well, there's several things in Vinton County, and this is where I'll have Red take over. But Red, tell us about the situation with the effort to get a new location for the Vinton County EMS station. This is a priority for the commissioners and the development department.
It is, and the county, as you can see by the picture, the EMS building, the current one, is on State Route 93 north of MacArthur. And the garage there in the middle is where the ambulances come out between the health department
Is that the garage there, Red?
Yeah.
Or is that the new building?
That's the one that they want to repurpose for the new. Down here, but the squads, they have to come up between two parking lots onto a busy highway. Now, this picture is the Walnut Street location where they want to move. It's in a back street in MacArthur, and that was the road guards. And one of the big advantages is this picture. The stalls are fairly new, as you can see. I guess they built those for the county road equipment when the road guards was there. So the squads can move right in. But if you go back to the other picture, if we can.
This one or the second one?
No, the second one. That one. This has to be repurposed for about $700,000. The county, because they have to put in sleeping quarters, and they have to put in modern communications, and I don't know what else, but they've got to have 24-hour communications. They've got to have, I think the building might have to be wired some.
Okay.
Sleeping quarters. And part of the problem they have with the current building is too small.
Yeah.
They have 5 squads. They only have like 3 stalls. Medicine's left outside. And although the building's in good shape, they've just outgrown it as an EMS station. And the fairgrounds, it's by the fairgrounds, and they use it for tourism. There's more and more traffic on 93. And if a squad can't get out,
that's not a good thing.
No. And it's never happened, but it only has to happen once.
Right.
So,
Sure.
So this is important. And the county has applied once and been turned down, but it wasn't a scope of the project. It was some of the language. I think they're going to revise that language, and I think they got a good shot at getting it funded this time.
They're really fortunate that they have a place that they can go that's there sitting empty that would be much better than what they have now. Well, Red, school is out at Vinton County High School, but it's a busy place in another way. Tell us about that.
Well, there's the high school out on Route 50 getting a new roof. Yeah. For the first time in 23 years. So they're replacing the original roof when the building opened in 2000. I'll never forget Melissa Griffey and I were there a little over 23 years ago to open it up. And it's been a great building. It's 23 years old, and it doesn't look it. It looks like a very new building. As you can see, it's aged very well, but you got to replace the roof, and that's been $1.2 million to do that. So, Superintendent Brooks, Rick Brooks, hopes. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Red. Sorry.
He hopes that it'll be done by before school opens in the fall.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Another thing we want to tell you about, this just was announced yesterday by the High Department of Agriculture. The spongy moth creates some problems in different counties in Ohio because it likes to eat trees.
Spongy moth.
It used to be called the gypsy moth.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure why, but they changed the name of the gypsy moth to the spongy moth. But anyway, one of the places they're going to spray is in the northeastern corner of Vinton County, in the area they call the mineral area. I asked one of our Vinton County residents, Joel Walton, where mineral was, and he had not heard of it in Vinton County, but we did look at it on a map. It's up there, around Lake Hope, around Zaleski, there in the northeast corner that's heavily forested. There on Monday, starting Monday, June 12th, or the week of June 12th, the Ohio Department of Agriculture has arranged for spraying. And what is sprayed is going to be very safe. It's not even going to kill the moths. It's just going to confuse the males so they don't know how to mate.
Okay.
So, can you imagine they've come up with some chemical that can do that?
Most men are just naturally confused.
Okay, well, they're going to confuse the male moths so they won't mate. It won't even kill the moths. It's completely safe for humans, pets, the trees, etc. So, if you see a low-flying plane there up there in the northeastern corner of Vinton County sometime next week, that's what's going on. Okay, some quick events we want to tell you about. Of course, the Day in the Woods is going on at Vinton County today in the Vinton County State Experimental Forest. That's near Dundas. That is a neat place that a lot of people haven't been. They have a program called A Day in the Woods that has been going on for a number of years. They're having a big celebration there today because this is the 100th Day in the Woods event.
Okay.
This is their forest and woodland owners, so they know how to manage their forest with hands-on type programs. Dave Apsley, who lives here in Jackson County and is a forestry agent on the extension side, he's going to be conducting that program. He invited us to come, and our own Phil Buffing will be there for that program, and we'll be reporting on that next week as well. Don't forget, James, we know this. We've had Tammy Mash here. The Raccoon Creek Market Day is going on tomorrow at Buckeye Furnace. A lot of vendors will be out there. I was surprised to know how many vendors they have lined up.
They have a lot.
Talk about a great place to shop, and plus be outdoors and see a wonderful place, Buckeye Furnace. That is tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4. Of course, the Apple City Players are doing their production of Play On. It will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Marquet Cultural Arts Center. Tickets are available. 7 p.m. performances Friday and Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. And there you see a shot from one of the rehearsals. The Jackson County Health Department, in connection with the Southeast Appalachian Regional Community Health Coalition, is having a program called For the Health of It that's going to take place at Manpower Park tomorrow. So they've got good weather for an outdoor event. It's going to go from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. People who go can travel to various stations to earn points toward prizes. So there's that incentive. But each station, in addition to the fun activities, will have instruction, education, advice on keeping your family happy and healthy. So you get health information, a chance to win prizes, and there will be good food available. And I'm guessing it may be healthy.
Okay.
All right. So those are some of the events that are taking place. The Jackson City Library, this sounds so interesting to me. They're going to host a series of hikes in Jackson County that are going to go in June and July. It's going to be very nice. The first one's going to be Monday, and it's going to go at Leo Petroglyph, which is out in Jackson Township near Colton. You drive west and you turn on a couple of county or township roads and you're there. But they have a nice hiking trail there that a lot of people don't know about. So that's going to be 5:30 p.m. Monday at Leo Petroglyph. Later on other dates, they'll be at Lake Catherine, they'll be at Buckeye Furnace, and they will be at a place called Big Rock out in Liberty Township.
Very cool.
And that's all free, of course. The Jackson Farmers Market, a lot of people are interested in that, the homegrown produce. It will open for the season Saturday, June the 24th, down on Harding Avenue across from the Eddie Jones Park. And so those are some of the events that are happening. We want to congratulate Ryland Sams, the great Oak Hill pitcher. He got another postseason honor that Todd Compson, our sports editor, has been reporting on. He was named the Player of the Year for the Division II of the Southern Ohio Conference, and there are some really good teams in there. Wheelersburg, for instance, won the conference, and they went to the regional final. But the best player in the league, according to whoever votes on it, I assume it's the coaches, is Ryland Sams.
Congratulations.
Who had such a great season, broke the strikeout record at Oak Hill, led the Oaks into the district tournament this year, and was one of the valedictorians of the class.
Very impressive.
So congratulations to him.
Guys, thank you for spending your mornings with me here. And I want to remind everyone again that this Saturday at the Trinity Chapel Church in Jackson is the Appalachian Old Car Club. That's kind of a tongue twister. Appalachia Old Car Club Cruise In this Saturday from 6 to 8 at the Trinity Chapel Church.
Right, see race cars in MacArthur in the morning, and then see classic cars at the Trinity Chapel in Jackson in the evening. Don't tell me. I know I say this all the time. Don't tell me there's nothing to do. Don't tell me.
And one more reminder: Josh Turner tonight, Ashley McBride tomorrow night at the Black Diamond Festival. And Neil McCoy at the Jackson County Fair. So we do have plenty of country music coming up. And it's going to be a great summer with all these events. So you shouldn't be bored. There's plenty to do.
All right.
Right.
Well,
Weather is not an excuse, James, this weekend.
Nope. Well, it is supposed to rain on Sunday, but until then, it's
Most
supposed to
of
be
this
good.
stuff is on Saturday.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Jennifer will be back on Monday, and we will see you then.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
James. Good job.
Thank you.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegram.news.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegram.news.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegram.news.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegram.news.com.
Check it out.